Hey, everybody.
How y'all doing? We hope you're well. We want to remind you to check out our website, hardstreetboys.com, subscribe to YouTube, totally free, and also consider supporting us on Patreon, $3 a month for early access, $5 a month for behind-the-scenes footage, and the more people we have supporting us on Patreon, the less we need sponsorships, which brings us to sponsorships. You could actually sponsor an episode. We could have a segment. There's all kinds of different ways you can advertise your business, your personal agenda, your manifesto. Well, maybe not that.
Yeah, let's not go there.
But you could be on the show. And is your competition on a podcast? Are they advertising on a local talk show?
No, they're not.
With us? No, they're not. Be the first of your friends to advertise with us. Send us a DM on social media, or you can email us at thehardestreetboys@gmail.com for pricing. But we're talking super cheap, super affordable, and super fun. We got a big show today.
We do.
We have Carl Reynolds of Southern States Soccer.
Southern States.
We toured the facility out there.
Yeah.
It feels like you're in Europe. I mean, it's killer. Soccer is taking over. Hattiesburg's a big soccer town.
Huge.
Everyone knows it.
Yeah, I've heard. They know it.
Big soccer town. So we're going to get him on the show. So I think it's just time to get going. Let's go.
Let's go.
The Hardest Street Boys. Hardest Street Boys. Hardest Street Boys. It's the Hardest Street Boys.
Like and subscribe. All right. So I heard you sang Meatloaf.
I sang Meatloaf. I went and had a little fun this past weekend singing some karaoke.
Because it was your birthday.
It was my birthday.
All right, everybody. Happy birthday
Please don't
to
sing.
you. Happy birthday to you. Sing on, come on. Happy birthday, dear Massive. Happy birthday to you. Thanks for singing along.
You have an excellent singing voice.
My lounge lizard, Bill Murray.
Yeah.
Star Wars. But anyway, it was your birthday this weekend.
Yeah, lots of celebrating.
Yeah.
Lots of fun times, hanging out with good people. Mm-hmm. Great time to be alive, you know? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I went to let's just start it off. Let's just get it right into it. I hosted a birthday blood drive at T-Bone's Records and Cafe. And I had friends of the show, Earthbeat Coffee, donate some coffee, Grin Coffee, donated some gift cards.
I'm very pro-Grin.
Robert St. John with Ed's Burger Joint donated a gift card. Nelson Haskin of Hattis Burgers and Blues and downtown restaurant tycoon he he donated a gift card to
Saint Nelson.
Saint Nelson of Front Street. He donated a $15 gift card. The Downtown Association, along with Hub City Stained Glass, gave an ornament, really cool ornament. So yeah, it was a blood drive at T-Bone's, and we had like 11 donors come. So it was a great time.
That's
Friday
great.
evening.
That's great. And well, it's cool talking to Cindy too. Like if I couldn't give that day, but she's showing me how to register, how to sign up. There's like an app you can use.
Yeah.
With Vitalent. So if you miss the blood drive, it doesn't mean you can't give blood. You know, you can still give at any time.
Exactly. I'm a big advocate for that. I tell people, people are always asking for donations for things like, hey, you can always give of yourself. Give some blood if you got some. And I'm pretty sure most of us do. So
yeah,
yeah,
that's how it works.
But yeah,
then you the Hippo's open. It was open this weekend.
Well, I went and had a nice dinner at Sakura.
Oh,
I love sushi.
Yeah, love
Sakura. People love sushi, and I went and had some. But then, of course, where to after that? The Thirsty Hippo for a nice little shindig. A lot of people celebrate birthdays in March.
Yeah,
so they had a party for like everybody celebrating birthdays in the Berg.
Yeah, that was fun. Had karaoke set up, and that's when you sang Meatloaf.
I sang Meatloaf.
Right.
I also sang some Ed Sheeran. There was this British guy there who got me up to sing some Ed Sheeran because he thought I looked like him. So,
oh really?
Shout out to Ed Sheeran wherever you are.
Yeah, Ed Sheeran, big fan of the show.
Yeah, put a little side by side. I guess we're twins now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to reach out for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you sang Meatloaf, but then I also know that you ate Meatloaf.
I did eat meatloaf. I went to the Midtowner for lunch later in the weekend and had a delightful meat plus 3 plate from the Midtowner. It was excellent. The meatloaf, along with some turnip greens and some squash casserole and some mac and cheese.
So you did lunch there.
I did lunch there.
Yeah.
They have a great blue plate.
I see. I always think of it as like a breakfast place.
It's the best of both worlds. It's
Breakfast
lunch,
and lunch.
Yeah, lunch and breakfast.
See, I've been getting the acai bowl, like, I mean, probably not every day, but a lot.
Day?
I've been going, well, because it's right by my place.
Yeah.
I can go there and get on Hardy and go down to work, and it's super convenient just going in that little, because they got that to-go area that's even separate from the restaurant, because, you know, like, it's popular. So if you're trying to get a table, a lot of the times there's a wait.
Yeah.
So on your way to work, it's just easy to get to go. So I've been doing the acai bowl. The other day I got the Skinny Elvis. So it's
Skinny Elvis, what's that?
It's bread, peanut butter, honey, granola, and then mixed fruit like strawberries,
That sounds
blueberries.
really good.
Dude, it's really
You're
good.
making me hungry.
It was I'm hungry too.
I've had a lot to eat this weekend, but
yeah, it's good. And then I always get a Midtowner coffee, which is actually made by Grin.
Yeah.
It's a special roast. I'm very much pro Grin.
everyone knows it.
Everyone knows it. I don't know who's saying I'm not. But yeah. So, didn't you say you had some footage of me in Equinox though? I'm a little nervous about you having
Look, man,
some kind of
I'm
footage.
just gonna admit it. We were goofing off. It was all goofing. We're just goofing over here. There's a lot of great places to get coffee in this town, and we're blessed.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
that's all I'm gonna say.
Well, yeah.
I'm gonna leave it at that.
We're very much pro local coffee, but
Yeah.
anyway. But yeah, what else do we have going on? This week it was wild because I started doing, I've filmed some stuff for Southern Prohibition, doing the one sip taste test with our friend Ben Green.
Yeah.
That's pretty fun. Those are going out every Sunday.
Very cool.
Just did like the 5 like mainstay beers. And then I started another, like, it's not a podcast, just another like kind of YouTube show. We've been workshopping a show with Matt and Nicole Burke. Their husband and wife, coach, athlete, CrossFit pros that work out at Versus.
Yeah, I mean, all of our viewers should know they were on the show.
They were on the
you
show.
know, they're friends of the show.
We talked about yerba and stevia.
Oh yeah.
So
Yerba.
Yeah. So it was cool doing that with them. Like we basically I called it WAD. I get myself into. WAD stands for workout of the day.
Workout of the day.
And
I didn't know that till now.
well, and then it's like a little whatever. It's a little play on words, but we do the workout. I do their programming. It's not easy, and it's super fun to get to tag along, and then we just sit and we kind of just talk about it and digest it. So it's super workout nerdy, but it's fun. It was really fun, and then made a lacrosse video for we made that lacrosse song back a little while ago, but I got to interview some of the players, and it was
See, that's
for
cool.
the school. Yeah, that was really
See, that's
fun.
awesome, man.
That was fun. And some characters too. It was hilarious. Had some really funny answers on if you hit someone in the face with a stick, do you go to jail? But it's lacrosse jail.
In most places, yes. But if you go while playing lacrosse,
yeah, that's called a slash. So
Okay.
there's a name for it. I learned all
Slashing.
this stuff, man. It was pretty cool. So yeah, lots of video editing and filming, but a lot of fun. And then I know we got a ton of stuff coming up too.
so many things.
This time of year, like Hattiesburg, March and April, we just try and fit it all in.
Well, we just had a time change, which means warmer weather is coming, and it's time to cut loose, I guess, or go out into the world and enjoy the out of doors.
You know what would be really cool, and we've talked about this before, but I don't know if you ever watched those Red Bull soapbox races, where
I think I've seen some of them.
they
do time trial style.
time trial, but you make this soapbox that's basically supposed to fall apart. You're supposed to
artful.
crash.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's decorate. It's part race, part float decoration, part comedy show. And I would love to do a soapbox race
We should.
in downtown. If we don't do it in a parking structure, block some streets off, and Midtown, you could go down 34th. That's a super long hill, and just get people to come out and it would be really cool to do it. My complaint when I was in high school in Hattiesburg was there's nothing to do. That would be so great for all ages, to spend time building. So I would like to do it next year so people have time to build their soapbox.
You know what would be interesting is if we teamed up with Extra Table. Because they love a crazy event.
Yeah.
So just to think about.
Yeah, we'll have to holler.
Now we're over here spitballing.
Yeah, we'll have to holler at them for sure.
Yeah.
But it's this time of year, man. It's a great time of year. So
Yeah.
I'm excited about all the events live at 5.
So yeah, let's just think about this. Like we were just talking about how we hung out at the Hippo. They've got like burlesque coming up. Mm-hmm. I think Homegrown Revival is like
That's
this
this
weekend.
Hubfest is the next Saturday.
Hubfest. Mm-hmm. What else were we talking? We were saying Live at 5 starts back in April,
Right.
Like very early April.
Right, first week.
Yeah,
April Fools, right, or close to.
I believe that is correct.
Yeah.
And then there's other kinds of things. The Downtown Crawfish Jam's coming up.
And you got to get your tickets early. They won't have tickets at the gate.
Yeah.
So that's important too. If you're going to Crawfish Jam, don't think you can show up the day of.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that. You got
Literally,
go to
if you're planning to go, get your tickets.
you got to go to the website. Link
Yeah,
in the
if you're on the
description.
fence, just go ahead and get your tickets.
Yeah.
And then have your tickets if you're like, oh, I can't go. Now you can give your tickets to somebody who can go. Mm-hmm. You know, it's the cool thing to do. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah, man. For sure.
Also, on the horizon, a little ways away, is Midtown Sounds, the MMA.
MMA.
The Midtown Merchants Association. They're hosting a little musical thing. I think they're going to have Taste of 59 South.
Love them. Friends of the show.
Open up for The Lone Bellow. I don't know if you've heard them. I saw them at the Hippo one time. Amazing.
Yeah. And
So-
they're doing it in the amphitheater, right?
You're doing it at Southern Miss. What do they call it? Spirit Park? So
Yep.
that sounds right? Spirit Park.
Yeah.
Southern Miss.
That's
Can't miss.
smart, man. That's Midtown.
Yeah.
That's smart. Just you already got the venue,
Yeah.
so you might as well.
Well, last year we lucked out. We had some decent weather. It was in a parking lot over there by the old corner market, by the kitchen table.
Right.
And it was, it was decent weather. So I wonder if it got really hot, it probably wouldn't be as fun to have it in a parking lot. So maybe a nice place like Spirit Park.
Yeah.
Sky's the limit.
That's a good partnership too. Get with the university, and they already have the infrastructure there. Might as well take advantage of it. So that's cool, man.
Very cool.
That's awesome. Well, I think it's time we get Carl on. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
Dude, we're big soccer guys.
I love soccer.
Well, football too.
Football.
Which do we?
love it.
I like football. Like I prefer to call it football because you do use your foot more than any other sport.
I grew up playing. You grew up playing. I was on like a state championship team in under 12. So yeah, that was kind of like the year that I was like, man, soccer's really fun. I love it, and I played it through high school. But one of the things that I've been seeing more, it's like, okay, now I don't play as much. We can go to the Keg. We can watch a game at the Keg. But after this show, Ted Lasso has come out. Like so many people are coming out of the woodwork and enjoying and loving soccer. But we in Hattiesburg, and we're going to get into talking about this, but we have a facility with nearby in the city of Hattiesburg that is like an amazing soccer facility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Like top notch.
yeah.
That's all I can say.
So the Southern State Stars team that they have professional players that play
Yeah.
with them. People that a lot of the guys who played on the team last year have since signed for pro teams and playing all over the country, all over the world. So can't wait to find out more from Carl when he gets here. So after this, Carl Reynolds, take it away.
This is the intro for Carl. We're talking about soccer, or is it football? Talking about Southern States. They got a thing. They'll put some food on your plate. They'll put some soccer on the field and watch the futsal inside their little facility. Yeah. Check them out. Southern States. Yeah. Football. Soccer. Yeah. And then we outro.
That's one of the best intros I've ever heard.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Thanks, Jamie. That was
Incredible.
that was killer. Carl, how are you today, sir?
I'm good. Been busy, tired, but good.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, you're Southern State Soccer, right? What is your official position at Southern States? Because I know you do a lot. I know you wear a lot of hats. I know you cover a lot of mileage, right? So what's your title and what is Southern States?
It's kind of evolved. I was at first just director of coaching in the academy side, and then obviously as we've added the senior team now and become the head coach of that, it's like you said, kind of a multitude of hats. But I'm fortunate. I love what I do. So it's been fun. We're on a journey, and we, like you guys, just trying to get better every day. You know, it's.
Well, I like that. That's why it doesn't matter what avenue you're in. You always have to try and get better. Like, I am curious how you ended up in Hattiesburg, right? Because as somebody, I played soccer, grew up here. Always wanted to get to England. Love England, love the culture. So seeing somebody who's from England here is like, man, like how'd you end up here, and how'd you choose, why America and why Hattiesburg, and why is soccer so important in these areas?
So obviously I came out here and to play college. I went to William Carey. Actually, I was going to come the year before I actually came. And I ended up turning it down for whatever reason. I guess I just wasn't in the place to say I wanted to leave and move 5,000-6,000 miles away, But I ended up coming and enjoyed my time tremendously at Carey and met so many good people. And I was one of those, when I was playing, I always knew I wanted to coach. It was pretty evident right from the start. I said to my college coach at the time that when I finish playing, I want to assist. I want to learn to coach. And I was really fortunate he gave me that opportunity, and from there, obviously, got into the youth game here with Hattiesburg Football Club, and they were fantastic to me and gave me my team and allowed me to get a lot of things wrong, and as you do when you're learning, trying to create your own philosophy and so on, and then from there, obviously, I moved on for a little bit. I spent some time in Spain and up in New York, and then finally came back here and started building what now is kind of a dream,
Yeah, what clubs were you involved with in Spain and New York?
So I moved, when I finished my Masters at Carey, I got a job at Sporting Gijón, which was a team at the time in La Liga. So I went in there, and it was like fish out of water. I had to learn Spanish and all of that. So that was tough, being away from, not only family now, but, having a simple conversation. So me and Kung Fu Panda became really, really... because they would have it on in Spanish and the subtitles underneath. So Kung Fu Panda was like my best friend,
That's how you learned it.
And then one day I just got a phone call to say there was a job opportunity at New York Red Bull. And I had like 3 days to think about it and jumped at it and came back. So
man, that's wild.
Yeah,
that's wild. Okay, so what is the biggest difference you think working in Spain from working in New York, from working here? Like, I'm sure there's common threads, but what did you find other than the language barrier from a coaching perspective and or like an operations perspective? What was the biggest difference you noticed when you made those jumps?
Obviously the biggest thing when you grow up in England, you're in Spain working, it's trying to explain to people over here, it's difficult, but it's like a religion. There, when we grow up, our religion is football, is soccer. That's just the way it is. We live and breathe it. Then obviously in Spain, you're at a high level academy. You come to New York, high level academy, and I guess the major difference between that and when we first started Southern States is obviously when you're in those higher level academies, there isn't the pay to play and things like that. So when you move and you're building a culture and a club and so on, you still have to understand that there are patrons to that. There are people that are paying and that are needing a service and so on. So I guess kind of finding that balance as well. But I think, we've done a fairly good job of that, and communication is key in that as well. And but yeah, I would say that's probably the biggest difference other than growing up in England where it was just every waking moment,
Well, what's so cool about it in England is it's not necessarily about, it's about the sport, but it's about your neighborhood. It's like where you're from. So there's like the same way here you might see somebody like, they have like they fly like a flag on their truck or something, an American flag. It would be over there, it's about your club because it's not necessarily, it's where I'm from, it's pride. Yeah. Is that something that you see with kids here, like with your club? Do you see the pride starting to build in that culture that you're building?
Yeah, I think so. I think we've commented over the last few weeks, you go away and you see people in all the swag, as everybody's calling it, and so on. And by the way, we've got you guys some stuff that you can be wearing it and show it around. But yeah, I would say that there's definitely been a culture change that's shifting. It's slow, but I wouldn't have imagined it any other way, to be honest. Football, basketball, baseball, and that over here are so big. You know, it's incredible how big they are, and trying to compete with that, I think, is very difficult. So we have to kind of find our own little niche and our own little pocket and just grind at it, you know, and hope that we can, at least when people come out and watch or they're a part of the organization, they have a lot of good things to say about it.
Right. Well, I went to your last home game last year so that you're in the NPSL,
Yeah.
right, which is true semi-pro soccer, right? We went to the last home game. It was so exciting, and it didn't really feel like I just felt like I was at an event. I didn't really feel like, because you got the hospitality suite, you're doing a lot of things right. Like, how'd you come up with this idea? Like, how'd you do that? Because it's brilliant, right? And it works. I think it's a great way to get people who maybe aren't huge soccer fans. It's a great way to get them involved. So how'd you come up with all this?
Well, it certainly wasn't me. I mean, for me, I'm a coach. What I do is on the field, and that's what I enjoy doing. And I always have my opinions because I'm a strong opinions guy. But we have a lot of incredible people at the club that are smart, particularly in the marketing side of things, and what are people going to enjoy. And you know, at the end of the day, in the area we're in, people aren't just going to come and sit and watch a soccer game and then leave. You know,
right.
they want to be entertained all the time and so on. So we have countless meetings and stuff about, you know, what's the next thing, what's the next stage, you know, how are people going to enjoy themselves, what's going to make them want to come out and watch. And then my job is just to hopefully put a product on the field that, you know, at least win some games so that they kind of get behind it, because everybody likes a winner, right? So so yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is we have an incredible group of people behind it that I'm thankful for, because they allow me just to do the job that I love, which is soccer, you know, and,
right.
and that's ultimately what I'm here for.
Well, I'm curious. I'm a Manchester United fan because that was the only team you could watch that was ever on television when I was a kid over here. I know that's like saying you like the New York Yankees. It's kind of what I get it, but you can't change your club. But I wonder, as like in the pro level, that's a team that got so caught up in the extras that like what's on the pitch isn't necessarily what used to be, right? But it grew because of what was on the pitch. How do you keep that balance between, like, is it just compartmentalized where you just coach and you worry about the actual game, and then you have other people to just worry about the events or the extra stuff? You know, I think
the biggest thing in any walk of life is you try and learn from other people all over, and one of the things that I was pretty cognizant of fairly early was stick to what you enjoy and what you know and what you're good at. And as much as you can have an opinion on things, there's better people in place to make those decisions. You know, I'm not going to walk into a doctor's surgery and tell them how to do their job. I'm not qualified to do that. You know. So on the soccer side, we have a really good balance in terms of they trust me, they trust my staff, they trust the way that we want to do things. And again, everybody has opinions, as we all do when we're watching Manchester United, you know. But at the end of the day, my opinion doesn't matter, because the guy that's in charge is the one they trust. The same thing with who's doing game operations that day, or who's in charge of the hospitality suite, and who's in charge of parking and all of that stuff. At the end of the day, they're the experts in that particular field, and they need to be given the reign to just go do their thing, you know. So the trust side is huge, and we have that in abundance, which is fantastic.
Well, and what I noticed, you know, we got to tour the facility, which was very kind of y'all to let us do that, but it doesn't necessarily feel like I've been on a lot of teams, you know. I've never been on a club. I've never been a part of a club. Is that kind of what Is that what you have in mind going forward, that this is a club? Like, one of my favorite things is that you have a mess hall that people can go, like players can go eat and be together. You can work out there together, and it keeps kids, especially young men, out of trouble too. Is that something going forward that you're cognizant of?
Absolutely. I mean, it's something that I've always liked the thought of, is, you know, the club and everything needs to be a family. You know, anybody that's, you know, understands, you know, the football side and the Barcelona type of feel, where it's we have our way of doing things. It's not necessarily the right way, it's just our way of doing things, you know. I love the fact, like, on on my end, I have 2 young daughters, and I want them to be able to come into my work and be in any room in the facility and feel like they're at home, feel like they've got older brothers, older sisters, whatever around that are going to take care of them, pour them their cereal, reach the top drawer if they need to grab a snack or whatever. And I trust every single one of the players, the parents, the staff, everyone at the facility. They're going to take care of my kids just like I would take care of theirs, you know? So I guess it's one of those things that you kind of know you want it, but the more it starts to get formed, the more you like struggle to, like, you keep hold of it, you know, and make sure that remains and that it stays stable. So I guess it's one of those things, you know?
Yeah. Well, and especially in sports, consistency is key, but then you're also, you know, applying that to life as well. And so I want to get into the NPSL league, right? The team, the Stars.
Yep.
Okay, what is the NPSL, and what is this kind of team? Because you have lots of youth teams, right? You know, that's I know a lot of people around here think of maybe they know somebody who has kids. They have a friend who has a kid on one of the teams. Yep. But this is pro. This is adults. This is serious stuff. What is Give me the elevator pitch for the Stars. Who are they?
So obviously we have Major League Soccer, just as you have baseball and so on, and then you have your leagues underneath that. And what differentiates the American system to most other systems in the world is we have promotion relegation, which, you know, if my team in England is struggling, they're at the bottom of the league, they're not in the top league anymore next year, they get dropped down. So the bottom 3 teams will drop down, the top 3 teams go up, and there's a lot of money involved and so on. Obviously in the States, that's not the case right now. They buy franchises in certain areas. You have MLS, then you have the USL Championship, and then you have USL League One, and then the next league underneath that would be the NPSL, the 4th level. And what we've got is, as you know, in any of these sports, players drop in and out of the leagues, and they go in and out of contract and so on. And we're really fortunate to have a place and people that almost are so engaging and inviting that those players that are dropping out of those ranks are wanting to come here for that chance to continue to train, continue to play at a really high level so they can push themselves back into the pros. And then on the other end of that, you've got the players that haven't quite made it yet, and you start merging those guys together. And what we say to them all is we want to create that exact same professional environment so that when you do go, you're ready to go. You're ready to be there. You're ready, not only earning the contract, but you're ready to keep that. You know.
Yeah.
So we tend to treat it that way. We train every single morning. These guys, they're on strength and conditioning program. I mean, they get so well looked after. We have so many companies in the city of Hattiesburg that have just been absolutely phenomenal to us with providing breakfasts and lunches to all the players. So they're, from the minute they get there, they're looked after. You know.
Who are some of those places?
So breakfast, Birdhouse Cafe, Katie Dixon's fantastic.
Yeah.
Obviously we have Witch, we have Olive Garden, Petra Cafe, we have the Indian Delight.
Yeah.
I'm going to miss some now and they're going to be really mad. Jimmy John's, Saki Cafe, Cinco de Mayo are phenomenal for us. So we have so many companies that have really got behind us, and I mean, places like us don't work without people like that. You see the amount of food that turns up every day and you're like, these guys are crazy. Like, you know, like they're giving this amount to us.
Right.
It's phenomenal. So
do you ever just pinch yourself when you're in that facility, and like just the fact that you have this place in Hattiesburg? I think it's so special, but it's got to feel surreal sometimes, man. Yeah,
I think I try not to linger in it, but there are times I'm a big, like, maybe before games when people are there and they're kind of in that atmosphere and, you know, it's filling up a little bit, and maybe sometimes then wow, this is pretty cool. A couple of years ago this wasn't even here, and now, you know, but I'm also everyone that knows me will tell you I'm also like, all right, shut up, Carl, like, get on with it now. What's next? You know, it's never stopping. So
well, and the reason I asked, though, see, you know, you can't really sit there and think about it a lot, because the reason you have those cool things is because you're about the work.
For sure.
Right. And I think it's one of those, if you're just looking for the cool, flashy thing, you miss the work. So you never get to the cool, flashy thing. It's this kind of like trade-off, you know.
100%.
But I love some of the posts you have too, where you can tell you're working on the lineup and all that. Like, how do you prepare for a match? You know, because like somebody who is coached, more of a strength and conditioning guy, and somebody who just, you know, hasn't, like, I don't have like my UEFA license. I haven't done the studying, you know what I mean? Like, how do you prepare for a match, and how do you think that differs from somebody who would, like a coach more like me, who maybe doesn't have the same kind of training or same experience?
I mean, everybody's got their views on how they want to see the game played and how they want their team to play. I'm all about us. What can we do well? And I think, you know, if we do a lot of the things that we can do well, we'll take away a lot of what they do well. Obviously, it's important to understand what some of their strengths and their weaknesses are, whether it be collectively or as an individual. And I'm quite relentless with stuff like that. I'll watch each team 3-4 times. I always joke, like, I know some of the players better than some of their coaches, I think. You know, it's just, you know, I'm a bit OCD when it comes to that. This is just my life, you know.
Yeah, man.
I need to get a life, probably. But
you got one, bro.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
But I tend to really concentrate on what we want to do, you know. So we set up, we'll say, this is where we want to play. These are the areas that we want to try and hurt you. And then the whole week is just based off of that philosophy. And then it's also, you know, when I was boxing back home one time when I was younger, it's like, hey, everybody's got a plan till you get punched, you know. And it's stuck with me for some reason. That's always stuck with me. And it's like, I'm a big what if guy. It's like, what if we get someone sent off in the first minute? What if we're a goal down in the first minute? You know, so I think my players probably hate me, because it's just like, yeah, but what if all the time? So that's a big part of my preparation, is just, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if the bus is late? What if the kickoff's later? You know, what if there's loads of people there? What if there's no one there? It's almost reading the whole environment and everything that goes into that, you know? Yeah. So yeah, it's every waking moment. It's funny, because it's why, like you guys are kind of cool to me, because you're starting this from scratch in this area, and it's like, I know what that feels like. And I have this, like, from you guys, this relentless feel of, hey, we're going to make this work. And I just gravitate to that.
Right.
Like, it's just, you know what I mean? I gravitate to that type of energy. I don't gravitate to a lot, to be honest. I'm not like the most social guy in the world. I'm probably really boring outside of football. But like, anybody that's just relentless about what they do, I can relate to that, because, like I said, it's every waking moment. It's everything. And
plan A's got to work, because I don't have a plan B.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, we talk about this is kind of came from COVID, but, you know, I recognize that too, and it's you can feel that kind of energy, right? And you can't deny it too.
For sure.
And I think that also is what saves you in the work, that, like, when it's a grind, it's like, I know this is what I'm supposed to do, though.
Yeah.
You know, and also, if you don't like it, too bad, because this is what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
And I don't have a choice. It's not even like I'm choosing to do this and you don't like it, or, like, you know what I mean? It's one of those, there's freedom in it.
Oh, for sure.
There's absolute freedom in it. What I want to learn more about, though, is your team coming up this year. So we're going to take a short break, and after this, we're going to get the rundown of this year's Stars roster. All right, so Southern States has the U.S. Open Cup, March 22nd.
March 22nd.
It's 22nd, not 26th.
It's not
The 22nd. It's a Tuesday.
Yeah.
It's Tuesday night,
Home game.
7:30.
What's the U.S. Open Cup?
So it's essentially a competition for all the professional teams in the country that will enter at a certain round. And then obviously the amateur teams have to qualify via various routes, whatever. Only a handful of amateur teams will qualify. And obviously we were fortunate enough to do that last year. So we're excited. Yeah.
Well, so this is kind of like the FA Cup, right?
That's what I was going to
exactly what it is.
Our version of the FA Cup.
This is our, okay, cool.
Exactly.
So we need to know about that. FA Cup's a
definitely.
legendary competition.
Huge.
We, as Americans, need to know about U.S. Open Cup.
Yeah.
And make that as big as FA Cup. So
Yep.
for this game, how are you going to line up? Because I want to know about your team. I want to know about your players. And let's start from the goalkeeper. Who's your starting goalkeeper for Tuesday night?
So I'm not going to go through starters or anything like that because someone might be watching.
You see, I'm trying to put the
you
pressure
tried
on
to.
you.
You did try. So we have right now. We have 3 signed. Garrett Wise, who's played at Jones Community College, and then Callum Harley, who's from England, plays at William Carey, and then Keko Grajeda, who's our number 1 goalkeeper. He's from Sacramento, California, and it's phenomenal. He's absolutely phenomenal. He went off and played pro last season, and we were lucky enough that he actually wanted to come back to us, which I guess is testament to the environment that we've created. But for the way that I like to play soccer, he's a dream for sure.
Right. So are you trying to build out of the back? Is this guy good with his feet? We did know when we took the tour, he was in the gym. So he's definitely devoted, but is he a technical player with his feet as well?
Yeah, I'm not going to make his head too big, but he's when we put him inside the rondos in the training sessions, he's just as good for sure. And the philosophy for us is really simple. We want the ball, so we have to have a goalkeeper that's comfortable with it, you know?
Yeah.
And we're lucky to have 3 that can all play, so.
Right. And that's something, too, that you have in the academy as well with the youth, right? So the way that the big guys play is the same way that you're going to coach a 5-6-year-old.
Absolutely. The first meeting we had, orientation a few weeks back when we started pre-season, I said to the senior players that a lot of the vocabulary we're going to use is the exact same vocabulary that we're going to use with our 6 and 7-year-olds. We have principles, and that's just the way it is. And obviously, they're doing it on a completely elevated level. But the fact of the matter is we have our principles, and we want to create our own language, and again, create our own way of doing things, and not the right way, but our way.
Yeah, I love that, man. I love that. Now, if you play, what kind of formation do you typically play?
So you'll see a lot more of a formation with us when we're out of possession. So I'm a big, again, principles. So wherever the ball is will dictate how we look and how we structure ourselves. We talk a lot to the players about creating essentially the 11v11 game is just a bunch of really small games happening at the same time. You could freeze it at any point and it's like 3v3, and then you freeze it again, it's like 2v1. You know, it's just, so what we want to do is we want to be able to master the small games. So wherever the ball is, we want to create small games around the ball. And then we also want to make sure that we've created length, width, and depth, so that if we want to reuse somebody or open the game out, we open it to create another small game. And that's essentially what the principles are. So, I guess that gives a little bit of insight.
But that's why when people go, I remember people ask me, why do you do so many drills? Why don't you just play all the time? Shouldn't you just play, you know? And I get it, kids should play in the streets. That's good, right? But the whole point of like the 2v2 or 2v1 or 3v2, whatever, those little drills are because that is the game.
100%.
Right? And it's just being able to like kind of put it in a vacuum, especially for young minds to like be able to digest that, okay, like however fast I close down my man, like it really doesn't matter if I'm a center mid, it doesn't really matter who's playing right back or what's going on over there. It's what's happening right now in front of me. You know, so with your formation, I asked because that's very trendy, right? Like and I think like people go through like 4-3-3 I love a 4-3-3. But that's dated, right? Then it's like a 3-5-2, and then you're playing with wing backs and all that. So what do you? Because I want to know who your back line is. I want to get to know your defenders. So how many would you normally typically play with in the back?
So for the most part, again, if we're defending, we're probably with a back 4. That shifts tactically based off of, you know, who we're playing, and again, like I said, the scouting report. What does it tell us about their individuals and the way they're going to play? But for the most part, we'll play with 2 centre backs and obviously our fullbacks. Our fullbacks are huge, and the centre backs are huge. They get a lot of the possession because of the way that we play. Right. So obviously they have to be really, really technically sound, and we're lucky to have a lot of them across the back line. So. And they start everything for us, you know. So we've got Ryan Marcano, who's a kid that's come in from playing professionally last year in Chattanooga. Samuel Dadzi, who played for us last year at centre back. So that's been phenomenal to have him back. Heath Flatto is going to come back in. I'm a massive fan of Heath. His local boy, but
Love Heath.
Just is. I mean, he's obviously a very talented boy, but again, we talked earlier about being relentless. He's relentless. He's phenomenal to have around and raises the training environment, and can't speak highly enough of him. And I'm big about balance, so we really wanted to make sure we had a left-footed, left-sided centre back. We ended up getting two, Hakeem and Ayrton. So they're two fantastic additions, and then. At left fullback, obviously, we've lost Danny, so that's always going to be a miss. But we've got Reese, who's come in from William Carey, who's fantastic. Noah Roblin, who's come through our academy. Miller Hayden, who's come through our academy. Nico's another fullback on the other side that's at Carey. So we're pretty stacked. We're pretty set, and those guys are going to compete now.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. Yeah, Heath Flatto, got to coach him at Sacred Heart. The biggest asset is his work ethic.
For sure.
Can't take that away from anyone,
sure.
man. I love that. So now this was your brother, Danny, that played left back. What was it like getting to coach your brother?
It was. I mean, it's strange. Of course, it was strange at first. I mean, but the reality is, I mean, I guess I've been coaching him all my life. Like I've got to watch him play, and he's always gonna ask me, "Hey, what do you think?" So I guess it was just on an elevated level. He's fantastic. I'm his biggest fan. I think the way that he plays and in the position he plays is like my type of player. But it was the best thing for him to do to move on for his career and for his goals.
Yeah. So, what's the age difference between y'all?
He's 24. So we're 9 years apart. I
asked because like my sister is like 7 years younger, and so it's like it's a sibling, but the age gap is so large, you kind of feel like a third parent,
For sure.
where the relationship's different. We never argued, and so that seems kind of like what y'all's. I don't know your relationship really well, but that's kind of seems like what it was, very much. There's a lot of respect there.
For sure. I mean, it's And the other thing as well is there's a difference between arguing and having the ability to be able to tell someone the truth and them know it's not a personal issue. It's just that's what you do, right? You love someone, you give them your opinion, and you go from there.
And it goes back to always trying to be your best and constantly trying to improve. If we're trying to improve in the same way, if you don't tell me and you don't tell me clearly and loudly, then I'm offended by that.
100%,
really.
yeah.
And that does throw a lot of people too. That's what I love about sports is that you're able to be truthful in ways that maybe other walks of life it's not as acceptable.
Yeah.
So that's your back line. What about midfielders? Because midfielders, like, it's hard to find a good midfielder, man. It's hard to find a midfielder who is good at attack but will also do the work and track back.
Yeah.
Right. So who do you have in midfield?
So we've got Liam coming back. He's one of Danny's. They went to college together at the University of Louisville, and he's one of Danny's very good friends. So he came in last year. He ended up staying all year. He started to coach in our academy as well. He's been phenomenal. So we're delighted to have him back. So smart, technically talented, and gets it. Really understands the way that we want to do things. So that's so key. Austin Fain's come back in, who came into the team later in the year last season and did a really good job. We've brought in Manu Ferriel, who played. He was drafted to FC Dallas a couple of years back. Played at FC Tucson in the USL last year. So he's come in. He's slowly rehabbing a broken foot, but we're hoping in the next couple of weeks he'll be back in and ready to go. David Lozano, who played at University of North Carolina Wilmington, he's come in. And then obviously we've got some of those players, Bennett Gibsons and so on, that are coming in from our academy. That we want to make sure it's really important that we find that link. I don't want there to be a cut off between these are the academy guys and these are the guys we bring in. We want there to be a link, and for those academy guys to be able to see it on a daily basis and live it. And like for Heath, get in it.
Yeah,
because you deserve it,
Well, and that's very much the pro model that you see in Europe, where you have a mixture of academy players giving youth a chance, but then you also sometimes you gotta you got to get a Galactico, man. You got to go get a player, and that's just how it works. But finding that balance, though, as you see at the professional level, you can't just buy a whole team, and you can't just go and play with only academy players. You have to find this balance, and then you have to figure out how to allow them to coexist and make each other better without. I imagine a lot of your job involves like management of egos, like especially in sports. Like that's got to be a large part of your job.
Yeah, it's that's the fun part. I mean, these guys at the end of they're people, right?
Yeah.
So they all have their muses, and they all have the things that irritate them, and it's kind of I always send out a document. It's called Getting to Know You. And I've got 10 questions that I ask, and it kind of just picks their brain a little bit and lets me know where they're at. Sometimes it's just words on paper, because that is what it is, but sometimes you find something, and then I tend to keep that paper, and maybe if someone's having a rough time, or maybe someone's absolutely top of the mountains right now and they need to understand that this too shall pass, we try and find that happy medium to keep everybody. It's very difficult. Don't let me fool you. It's not easy.
Well, and that's what you always heard about, with Sir Alex, that he was a great man manager. The same thing you see now in the modern game with Pep. Knowing when to put your arm around someone, and then knowing when to let them know what's up. And also, some people just need to be they need the hammer, and some people just always need just reassurance. And you play psychologist. It's not even
for sure.
It's you once again wearing there's another hat for you to put on. Now, who's in your attacking third? Who's going to score goals for you this year?
Hopefully all of them. No, so we've bought Tom Shepherd back, who was top goal scorer last season. J.R. Cozine, who's come back in, who towards the end of the season last year was phenomenal for us. And then we've made some really, really good signings. We've bought a kid in from Colombia who's played professionally in Colombia, Jean Lucas, who right now is wowing everybody in training, which is incredible. We've got Mason Walsh that's coming in, who's been in the NPSL Team of the Year for a few years in a row, so he's been a huge signing for us. Sheldon Green, who was top goal scorer for New Orleans Jessers last year, has signed. So we're in a good place. 2 of those come in this week, so obviously we'll start to integrate them into the group. But we've got a lot of options going forward, and then again we've got a few that are coming in from our U19 team and so on. Ilion Fajardo, who's going to come in and work for some game time as well. So we're again trying to push these academy guys to see the next level, but also hopefully give them a chance.
Yeah, Love L. Bird up.
I was going to ask, you're talking about all these players. I mean, y'all have a squad. I'm curious how much, and I'm sure it does, we've been talking about it, but how much team chemistry plays a huge role in what you do, and trying to, essentially you are a chemist of trying to make this team like the team. So how does team chemistry play into all of this that you do?
I used to, I guess, I'm still a young coach, I'm 33, but I guess I used to almost try and manufacture that and make it happen, because I felt like I had to have control of everything. And I think that those things, if you create a good enough environment and people know that you all care and that you have certain principles and ways of doing things that are non-negotiable, I think it happens organically. We obviously do things that help that. We had a cookout the other night and we had a quiz night, stupid stuff. And I bought my daughters, and everybody bought, girlfriends or whatever it is. And we tried to create that environment. Last year we went paintballing. We went, we did a water park down in Gulfport one day, we'll randomly throw that in. But to be honest, a lot of that time, those times, it's not necessarily manufactured now. It's more of okay, we're going to give them an off day in training today. Why don't we make this a day where they just get to spend time together? Rather than it being we've got to do this, and these have to be the groups for the quizzes, and you know what I mean? Right. So I think I've learned that it needs to happen a lot more organically, and it's about what the big picture looks like. And you're always going to have people that maybe don't fit into that, and you have to deal with that separately. But for the most part, we've been so fortunate with that.
Well, and that's a great question, Jamie, because if you ever read Zlatan's book, he talked about how when he went to Inter Milan that he saw clicks and he didn't like it, right? And that a lot of times it has to come from a player, you know, like somebody to go, okay, players only meeting, you know, no cut, which it has got to be hard as a coach to kind of go like hands off there, but you know, who is that leader that is going to go like, all right, come on, everybody's coming to my house, we're going to get in trouble. You know, I'm not advocating, but you know what I mean? Like, where there's, like, we all share, like, a secret or something.
No,
like,
I know.
Nothing brings people together like, hey, don't talk about Saturday or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, who is that guy on the team? Do you have that right now?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, all the returners from last year, Keko's a huge character. I mean, everybody loves Keko.
Everyone.
Liam's more of a quiet leader, you know? So we have all different types of leaders as well. Mason coming in is on the field leader, you know, wants it done right, and so we have different types of leaders for different moments. But it's a great point. I mean, when I was an assistant in college, and it was like the guys went out yesterday, and I'd be like, oh, I don't like that, you know, like. Whereas now, like, I know my guy, they had the weekend off, and I know a lot of those guys went down to New Orleans for the weekend, and I love it.
Yeah.
It's fantastic, you know, because they're going to have experienced each other this weekend away from my voice, away from hearing me going on about our principles and all of this stuff. And hopefully they're going to come back into training tomorrow and they're going to be like, right, coach, let's go to work, you know.
Well, and you are being consistent and you are very clear about what your standards are. So as a player, I would know, okay, when I come back Monday, it's time to work.
Ready to go.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm going to come back to it. But it's very difficult to just trust that they'll come back. You know what I mean? Like, that's got to be the trust. Like, you talk about that in a team. You have to trust each other or else it just won't work.
But I think it's principles again. You know, like, if we say, hey, if you're a minute late to the bus, we're leaving, and then you wait an extra couple of minutes, you've lost it.
Yeah.
It's details, right? So I've done it before in college where it's like, no, it's 10 o'clock, we're going. Let's go. Yeah, but he's our best player. So what? It's principles. And then, okay, it might hurt you for that particular time or day or whatever, but you best believe that everybody's like, okay, we're going to be held accountable here, you know, and you only have to do that one or two times. And to be honest, I'm hoping that we don't even have to do that this year because we took care of some of that stuff maybe last year.
Yeah.
So it just kind of reverberates, you know?
Well, and people respect that and they crave that, you know. I think people are afraid to do it because so-and-so won't like me if I'm hard like that, you know. But as a player, like, dude, that's what I would have wanted.
Yeah.
It's just give me boundaries. Just tell me, you know. And
I guess like for that, like I get that all the time, and I guess my worst trait is like I'm not really overly bothered about that, you know. Like if they like me, because I think that the respect side for my job is way more important than you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of course, you don't want them to dislike you, obviously. You know, you don't want anyone to dislike you, but at the end of the day, principles are principles, and this is the way we do it. And
I got a goal that I got to get to.
Yeah.
And everything else, you know, those are details, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, man, Hattiesburg's so fortunate to have you here. And as personally as a kid who grew up here and dreamed about having a stadium and a club and your black and red, which is my jam, like, you know, like it's kind of surreal. I just selfishly wish I would have had that as a kid, man. I'm curious to see what my life would have been like having a Stars team where you can go and, like, you know, we're training. The amount of trouble I'd have stayed out of is just like, I don't want to think about it too much, but it's so cool. It's so fortunate. We're so fortunate to have it. And March 22nd, what's kickoffs at 7:30
Yeah.
At Southern State Soccer. You can follow Southern State Soccer on social media. All the links are in the description below. And yeah, man, this is really awesome.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
Everyone knows I'm a big 4-4-2 guy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Huge.
You were definitely the
Yeah,
target.
I'm a 4-4-2 guy.
Yeah.
Hit it to the big man,
he's
flick
the
it on.
nine.
I've been waiting to say that for like
for years.
like half an hour.
Hey,
The podcast only needs to be that. That's the only
That's it.
important part.
That's all
I'm
we're
a
gonna
huge
put out.
4-4-2
To
guy.
be honest, I'm actually thinking of changing everything that we do.
Thanks.
Just
Yeah, if you want me to just give you random formations, I was thinking 8-1-1. Is that one? Like
A 9-0-1.
yeah. No midfield.
you wouldn't want to be that midfielder, would you? No.
Play us your 4-4-2 song, Jamie.
Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah. Southern States represent. Check them out in the OG. You need to go and check out the facility. You know what I'm talking about? Southern States, March 22nd. What you want to do? Massive one, a 442.
Yeah, you got it in.
Put Keko in the goal.
We love Keko. We're big Keko guys.
Huge Keko guys.
Everyone knows we love Keko.
Yeah, he's out there training.
Yeah,
every day. He's hustling.
Bro, he's doing his squeegees every day,
Exactly,
bro,
man.
with the band.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah. Southern States. Southern State. Yeah. Bring the bells in.